Hello and welcome everyone. In the previous videos, we learned about how to deploy your website on Zeet, on Vercel, and in this video you're going to learn how to do it on AWS S3 Bucket. Now there are different ways to deploy your website to S3 Bucket. The first one is AWS CLI. The second one is AWS CLI with the Gatsby plugin-s3, which is a plugin for Gatsby. And then you can also have continuous integration, which is using Circleci, and you have other options as well from GitHub if you want to like deploy it on GitHub itself, from GitHub itself. Okay, so I'm going to start with the AWS CLI approach first. So the first thing you're going to want to do is install the AWS CLI. What you need to do is you need to do npm install AWS CLI-g, so it's going to install it globally. I have already done that, so I don't need to do it, but you can install it. And once you do that, you need to do AWS configure. What this is going to ask you for is your access key ID and the secret key. So I've done that. And then it's going to ask you for default region name. You can give the region name. In my case, it's US East 1. Then whatever format, so we can keep it as default. And there you go. So you've actually configured AWS. The next thing you want to do is, after configuring it, you can create two files. One is deploy.js. So first thing, you can create a directory called bin. And inside of this, you can create a file, and that will be called deploy.js. Okay, and then you also need to create a deploy.sh file. So we want to write a bash scripting file. Okay, oops, not this one. New file, deploy.sh. Okay, so this is an executable. This will be an executable file. Okay, now in order for us to use this file, what we need to do is we need to give it executable permission. So for this file, the deploy.sh to work, you need to give it an executable permission. So for that, we're going to require the fs, the file system from Node, using this line over here. And then we're going to use a function called chmod sync, and we're going to go ahead and say that get hold of this particular file, which is deploy.sh, and give it a permission of 0755 so that it's executable. And the next thing we need to do is inside of our deploy.sh, we will write this code. So what this does is basically, first of all, it's going to go ahead and get a bucket name. So it's going to go to the env file. So you need to create an env file. So my current env file is actually inside of the site directory. So but wherever your env file is, just make sure that you add the AWS bucket name. So we'll put that, and whatever your bucket name is like, you can put that here. Okay, so AWS underscore bucket underscore name and whatever this is. Once that is done, then you will go ahead and grab that bucket name from the env file, and it's just going to go ahead and set the value inside of this variable. Okay, then we need to run certain commands in order for us to deploy. So generally I do npm run clean, and then I do npm run build, and then finally this is the command that's responsible for this one right here. This is responsible for deploying your website, in fact moving all of your code from your public directory into your AWS bucket, because Gatsby actually installs all of the data inside of the public directory. You can see that inside of public directory you have the page data and everything. So the whole public folder, all of these files including the index.html is going to be deployed, or copied to the AWS bucket folder. So AWS is the CLI that we have installed. So you write AWS, then you do S3, and then sync, because we need to sync it. And then where you want to do it. Like this will be public, which folder you want to deploy, so this will be public, and then S3, and then this we are using dynamically, because if we are pushing this code on GitHub, we don't want to actually expose our bucket name on the GitHub. That's why we're putting it inside of the NV file, which will not be pushed. And then we do exclude in case if you want to exclude any of the directories. So one of the common things what we've seen people doing is that if they are having a decoupled architecture, they are also saving or storing their WordPress images into the AWS bucket uploads directory. So there are plugins available for doing that. There is a plugin from Humanmade that allows you to move your WordPress images whenever you upload an image on the WordPress to be directly uploaded onto the bucket. So if there is a folder in your root on your bucket itself where you are storing some information or some of the images from WordPress, etc., and you don't want that to be overwritten every time you deploy it, then you can mention the folder name here with the exclude. Okay, and then this will be ACL public read. Okay, and then that's it. That's what you have to do. And then finally, in your package.json, you just need to add this script, which will be for deploy, like node bin deploy.js. So this is going to give the executable permission, and then finally this command will actually be responsible for running the build and deploying the site on Gatsby. Okay, so all you have to do then, once you've done that, is just hit npm run deploy. You can also run this command in terminal directly, like paste it here and just run it, but just make sure you replace the $AWS bucket name with whatever your bucket name is, and in case if you want to exclude the folder, put that over here, or just delete this part. Okay, great. And so that's the first way. Second way of doing this is using the AWS CLI with Gatsby S3 plugin. So there is a plugin already available on Gatsby that you can use. So this is the plugin basically. You can check it out. So what you do is you do npm install Gatsby plugin-s3, you install it, and then inside of your Gatsby config, and this is where you need to paste it. So just take this code, this part right here, and just paste it here like this. Okay, and since your bucket name is going to be NV, take it from there, or in case if you're passing it through the plugin, whatever your variable name is, I'm just letting you know that this is where the bucket name will go. Okay, and once you've done that, just add the script as well. So the script will change a little bit. So this will be npm run build and then Gatsby plugin-s3 deploy. Okay, so once you do npm run deploy, it's just going to go ahead and run this command, and it's going to ensure that it deploys to that. But make sure you do the AWS CLI installation globally and also configure it before you actually do this stuff. Okay, one more option of doing it, one more way of doing this is using Circleci, which is continuous integration. So first what you do is you create an account on circleci.com, and all of the information, how this needs to be done, how deployment is done, is given over here. I'm not going to go into the detail of it. Probably I'll cover that in some other video, but yes, you have all of the information of how things are done here. Okay, so basically make sure you create a context with AWS access key ID and secret key. So you will have option to create context in some of your workspaces. Okay, and once you've done that, you also create a circle.yaml file where you're going to write all of the configuration for the deployment, and then so you can find more information here how that will be done. Okay, like for example, writing a YAML file has been mentioned over here, how you will actually do that. Okay, great. And if you want to know what are the files available on your AWS from CLI, you can just run this command and see what else is available. So you can get more information about the AWS command over here. Okay, so AWS command CLI tool is very, very powerful. You can do a lot of stuff like move folders, sync folders, files, etc. So there's a lot of stuff that you can do. Awesome, that's about it. And in the next video, we will start building the theme from scratch. If you did like the video, please give a thumbs up and do subscribe to my channel if you aren't already. So in the previous video, we have discussed that I've created this Gatsby theme that you can check out, and you can use it if you like to use with WordPress. And please give a star to my repository and follow me on GitHub. And my Twitter handle is CodyTech. Okay, so follow me on Twitter. In the next video, we will discuss about how to create a Gatsby theme with WordPress from scratch. Brilliant. That's about it, and I'm going to see you in the next video. Thank you.